All right, here we go again. So, it could be a mixed bag. You could have people, on all sides of the thing battling each other with varying things. You could have people that are good. So if you have some good cops and bad cops, it can destroy a police department because the good cops could be embattled by the bad cops, and then could get them all in the end. Externally, the world changed when cannabis use increased. For some reason, they think it's okay to hate cops for everything they do just because they enforce cannabis laws. And that's one of the major things that could even cause something like that. Now, you have a lot of private sector murder-suicide, I think you hit, and that's concerning. To me, from what I'm seeing, I gotta put my headlamp on. One of my power banks fell next to the refrigerator. I don't feel like pulling it out. I said I actually provided something from track lighting that was in here before or something. Some metal pieces that I could possibly get this out with. Where is it? There it is. Let me get this stuff. There we go. Make those in. Yeah, we do need to pull this refrigerator around. I found some dust bunnies. Tons of dust bunnies. I'm actually dealing with all these corporations that only send us things. Right. Deep State makes sure I don't receive anything. Right. That's the scam. They contact them, tell them I'm a criminal, and in the end, everybody knows it's just a scam. But they get those. And the fact is, cops are giving narcotics users money to do, and they go off and they buy narcotics with it. And who knows? I mean, I'm sure. I do know. I'm sure you took some of these people, you gave them drugs right up, straight up, right? Not the evidence locker. Right. Sure of it. And then they have this nerve to say, well, it's because he's so bad, even the criminals hate him. Well, he hangs out with criminals. I don't hang out with criminals. You keep sending criminals my way. Right. It's a scam. Right. But then you isolate your life. You can't do anything. Well, because they'll read in the Riot Act. All the stuff you use for a real investigation. We'll take your kids, we'll do this, we'll do that. We'll wait for them to get drunk or high and drive, and then say, hey, we'll let you off the hook if you do this, if you do that. Right. I should have ordered it to this location, because here comes the Amazon vehicle. I put it in a locker because I didn't know how it worked around here. We're probably the same dude. I wonder if we got delivered already. Stand by. Yeah, I would have my Amazon delivered right now if I wouldn't have to go anywhere. I probably won't do anything, the last thing to deliver. They do this, believe me. Cops are dirty as hell. Especially federal cops. Yeah, my stuff will be getting delivered right now. But you know what? If I ordered something that was going to be delivered here, they'd probably make it last. Right. How many weirdos, man? The cops that do this corrupt shit, they're just plain old weirdos. That's a combination. It's organized crime. The thing is, if you're good cops, your bad cops are probably affiliated with organized crime. So they're going to help the organized criminals do stuff. Right? And if they have to, they'll cause suicide, if they can. Right. Well, what it does is you just, like I read the news and I can see what's happening sometimes to the cops. And so what's happening is if you're being harassed, you're not going to get your gun out fast enough. You're going to get out. You're not going to think the way you're supposed to think, and you either shoot somebody you're not supposed to shoot, or you forget, you don't get it out, your gun out, and then, it's just as bad type of situation. And eventually I said it's just not worth it. Yeah, I should have returned to Pennsylvania. I'm just looking at the woman going, there's a normal woman again. Now he's living, I don't know what, must be drug use, such heavy drug use in the Midwest and in the Southwest. Right. Now there's no way that we're missing dope. I mean, there's no way that we're missing the smuggled drugs at the level that we're missing it without dirty cops. There's just no way. And there's no reason for the deep state to exist other than narcotics distribution, sex trafficking, and every other crime they're into. Well, you're supposed to be healers. You should be healing your community. You shouldn't speak. The cops will speak ill of civil rights, but the cops are the ones that need civil rights more than anyone else, because when your rights go, then you get thrown in jail. Right? So everything we say with a force of will has an effect. I don't have any will. I don't know any will. I just work off the will of God. It might mean I have a terrible life, but that's just here. Right. Here is nowhere. Right. That's really nothing. Just a piece of shit, really. There are witches, I can see that. Your county has witches and warlocks and stuff like that. And I do see some narcotics distribution. I just can't see how the police department fits into it or doesn't fit into it. Right. I can see that. Right? I can see the witches. I can see meth dealers. I can see like older men that are part of organized crime. But I can't get any further. I'm not generally getting any further than that. At least for now. I'm sure there's pill people and fentanyl. Right. Well, they could be warlocks. They're actually devils. They could be devils. They could be cursing you every day. So if you go corrupt and lose God's protection, well, it's definitely metaphysical, but the question is, what are the metaphysics of it? The whole thing is metaphysical. Right. Well, you should heal. But see, I don't know who your Catholic priest is. Generally, we can do an exorcisms generally work. So I would do a bunch of exorcisms, whoever you have around there. Throughout the community, and hold vigils, and because you can't pray for things if you're not. I was trying to explain it before. God is connected to every creation. So let's say you're praying for a cop to pull through. Let's say a cop was shot and you're praying for him to pull through. But if he pulls through, you hate black people, and that particular cop's going to help black people. That cop might be killed, might die because you can't heal him. Because you don't want him to help. You don't want anybody around to help, black people, that kind of thing. That's just a simple way of explaining it, but it goes real deep. That's how God explains to me. He says the only reason you see me and we can communicate generally is because, again, the planet is messed up and communication is difficult. It's because you don't discriminate against people, against creation, against anything. You just kind of individual case by case basis, right? So if you discriminate, then you can't see God, because God is part of everything, because you're actually discriminating against God. And it doesn't matter what you say, like make noise. Look, it's a freaking, it's one of those stink bugs, isn't it? Stink bug, ah! Sure there are a lot of bugs around here. I stayed in the Southwest though, because if it didn't go, corrupt like it did, as bad as it did, because there's no bugs down there. It's so dry. There's not a lot of bugs. Right? Got some that's roaches, and that's about it. Right? But you don't have mosquitoes all that much or anything. It's about to get cool here in a couple of days. They'll start disappearing. It's probably why he's up here. It's already starting to get cool. Trying to get the sun. It's on my screen. It's on my second floor window. Here's an example. If they were messing with my deliveries, they would want me to see the Amazon van deliver it earlier here. I'm not saying they are, but because it has a psychological effect. You made the wrong choice. Right. That's how they operate somebody, so they can't. You freeze up and you can't even make a choice. Right. Oh, they're going to hell for it. Believe me. They can laugh all they want on this planet. They're the only sure people going to hell. The people that I'm speaking about. If you're altering another person's life downward, then you're history. You'll all go to hell. And so that person's the sinner because you altered their life downward. No, it was before I showed up because you're a witch, a devil, a warlock. You caused it before they would even show up, so you could say that. There's a lot of questions coming up because as far as places where I'm staying right now, extended stays, as to whether these places are now actually being run by narcotics distributors. Right. Kind of like opium dens. Right. Tower, Texas had just overcome that when I moved in years ago before COVID. There was one that recently came up that's being charged. I can't remember the location. I'm sure there are others. I'm sure ones that are being missed. I'm sure ones are paying protection and nobody's bothering with it. Like, but once that happens, that becomes a force in your community, a detractor. Right. There's definitely something going on. There's definitely curses coming into police officers. But again, the question is, who are the police officers? I don't know. I don't know whether they're honest or corrupt. Right. But I do see the rest. Well, one of the weird things when you look at metaphysics and how that works, it presents a different picture. Right. Well, both the shooter and the cops could have been victims of the same people. Right. See, yeah, that's probably true about the Pulse nightclub shooting also. I believe in that King Super shooting that the cops were too upset to have not been probably harassing that lonely young man. Right. Well, it starts, we got investigating for this, investigating for that, just some bullshit. Cop could have just threw it out there. Next thing you know, they're driving them crazy, he grabs a gun and kills someone. And kills a bunch of people. And then they're all screwed up in the mind because they know they stressed him out, on several occasions. That's what I believe happened there. Now, FBI admitted to psychologically operating, quote unquote investigating, but psychologically operating the Pulse nightclub shooter. And I know how it works. The cops, once they're put into somebody, they stay on. Right. So, I was hoping some more would show up while I'm speaking, but I'm not seeing much. You're not hearing me going, right, sure, yeah, so I'm kind of closed down over here, but that's okay. Right. So, yeah, it just happened, but that's because they welded. was our minds thinking. Oh, that's right, he's not saying that. We can't say he's crazy if we don't make him look crazy. That's their mind. I can't see the cops, but I can see York County, and I can see meth dealers. I can see older men that are crime bosses. I see. I don't know what else is. Yeah, I see it's probably they probably know the metaphysical stuff. So the first thing it's done is metaphysics to see if they can take you out that way, and then they'll psychologically operate you. Like one of your cops or a few of your cops may be going out partying on the weekends every so often, but every time they go somewhere, they do a psyop where a woman kind of shows up but doesn't show up, and so you're not getting, like, again, it's not good for man to be alone. There's a whole bunch of things in the scriptures that define that better life, and that, again, we find that in psychology that it's, good. It's not good for man to be alone. It's not good for women to be alone. But the deep state says it's good for them to be alone. That's where a lot of cops lose their protection. They kind of believe that they get to isolate people, and God will kill you for that in hell for sure, and here if possible. There's no reason to isolate people. It's a scam. You look around the community, cops even cops that are inside, they can't say anything, but they say, look, we look around this community every time these people come into town, or every time the boss says to go do this to somebody, and we look at the people that are actually doing what they try to say like you're doing, and they're living great lives. Right? Nobody bothers them. They don't miss a beat, like the guys here. I'm sure they went into Walmart, the two people that were, that girl that overdosed, that they had, some of them had sex with, right? And we're high-fiving people, yo, what up, right? Joking around with cops when they see them, right? It's not real, man. The psychological operations aren't real. And then they hit you with the bullshit. Well, we've been doing this for so long, we know where and how we're supposed to do it. You just don't understand. And essentially, they're calling you a blithering idiot because obviously it's a scam. But again, they got their vacation home in the Caribbean. They got their hot rods and their monster trucks from doing correct. So again, we're not going to let that up. Correct. FBI included. Thank you, Mary. Now, you may have assassinated your police department, assassinated your officers because they wouldn't be corrupt. Right. Well, they don't expect this. It's like 9/11. They don't expect it to happen so fast and so violent. If it was one cop would, get arrested, the other cop might, commit suicide, the other cop might this or that. Right. Over like a 5-year period, and then they have their people, hired on. They will hire your people, if you get rid of these people out of the police department, and then you don't have to worry about somebody snitching on us. Right. That's pretty much how it works, man. How the Marshal Service works. And worked. How the FBI worked and works. Not becoming safer. See, here we are, 25 years later, or 30 years later, and it's not any safer. It's all bullshit. Read. Pour some rubbing alcohol. Where the trash can was. Could use a little bit of cleaning over here. Thank you, sir. Put the water carry the germs and wipe the anxiety back in here with some rubbing alcohol. Yeah. I bought the wrong one. 70%. I thought it was 9%. Trash can banking. So I can't say anything about the law enforcement there, although I do realize there was corruption in the York County Sheriff's Department when I lived there. Right. And obviously, the York County Daily Record said there was some sort of state police prostitution, private investigator scam going for, and obviously, extortion. Right. Thank you, Larry. Agreed, Larry. So, you definitely got some narcotics distributors that have evil witchcraft. I would say they're devils. And it does involve meth at a minimum. Well, they can put a curse on you and curse on the other guy, and it curses meat, and then that happens. But the idea is to start healing it. So what you need to do is stay honest, and I'd actually contact your priests, the Catholic churches, the ones that usually do the exorcisms, and just remote suicide is what I would focus on. So what you have to do is you sit down with the priest and you go over what you see. So you have to assess what you see, right? Well, yeah, you need to bless the policeman, bless no corruption. So again, when you ask to be blessed, you should say, hey, bless us not to be corrupt, bless us this way, bless us. So you can help the priest understand what you're looking for. So, I'm not Catholic. Let me think here. Hopefully he's an honest priest. What was I looking for? Get ready to Google something. All right. Now, later in my life, just about killed me. They were second York County, or were at least. York County, they're part of it. They were Jimmy Hughes, the corrupt marshal, whose son was a narcotics distributor that had to leave DEA or get arrested. Right. York County, exorcism. Let's see what we got. See if anything's going on there already. Okay, so mother killed her son, attempted. Dixon City. And a priest arrested after exorcism attempt. So again, it's not York County, but close by. They're trying to discredit exorcism, right? You'll see that come up. Seeking a formal exorcism. Police search for a suspicious person. They claim an exorcism. Okay, so there's something that strange happened around an exorcism in York County. Home Depot, Pennsylvania. Right. All right, so yeah, ignore that. Go to the actual Catholic Church. Fine, let's see what we can find. Exorcist, York County, Pennsylvania. To seek, you must contact the Diocese of Harrisburg, which serves York County. Bishop. Okay, so evaluation. Okay, so HBG diocese.org, address 4800 Union Deposit Road, Harrisburg, PA 17. Okay, these are the numbers 17111. That's good numbers. That means that's who you need to call. Right, that's zip 17111. The church takes claims of demonic activity seriously and will assess the situation in medical and psychological professionals. All right, so you want to avoid general exorcism, right, of locations, right. All right, so actually, they have a news article. I think The Exorcist was a classic. Father John Cesada, Liversmith, Latin. Okay, Cesada was his. He's one of the early. Okay, so the area has an early. I don't know if he's still alive. This guy Cesada. He's one of the early first exorcists, I guess. Yeah. 2020 was this article. Yeah. The bishop said to me something to tell, I'd like you to be my exorcist. That was it. Literally, that was it, Cesada recalled. That was in 2011. There were only around 15 exorcists in them, but there are now over 100 who attend a yearly conference. So is Cesada still there? Okay, so the signs are that he's in. So what was his name again? Something Cesada. John Cesada. My package is ready. Yeah, he went to the place where my package was. Nice. Lancaster, Latin. Who's in Lancaster? Father Francis. Okay, Brian Okolski, Reverend John Cesada. Cesada. Looks like a typical York County guy. Has served as chaplain as the Carmel of Jesus Mary home traditional Carmelite sister in Ellisburg. No, it's him. It's language. Byzantine liturgy, St. Ellisburg, PA. Knoble's Amusement Park. Well, these call the Harrisburg people. If your county needs exorcism, it's not a particular person, but it's what I understand is people, places, and things. Depending where they. Right. Obviously, when you present what's going on in northern York County with these murder suicides, they will say, yes, there's a need. Now, the question is, do they know how to do it? I don't know. Right. I'm sure they can come up with something. I'm trying to figure out where this guy is. Ellisburg. What is Ellisburg at? Let's see here. It's not even on this map. It shows me a map with nothing on it. 42 miles northeast of Harrisburg. Okay. Might be a little too far, but maybe they'll say send him. They actually need a team. Get a lot of people in the area. Obviously, it looks like it's a Catholic area. But this guy says he'll do it, Reverend Samuel Miller. Is that now? See if it was Samuel Miller as a young guy. The Diocese of Harrisburg. Okay. All right. I was updated to the priesthood in June 2009 by Bishop Gaynor. That's probably who we're going to speak to, I guess. Is it Bishop Gaynor? Let's see what we got here. Prelate of the Roman Catholic, he serves as bishop. Oh, he's no longer, I guess, to 2023. Who came on after him? Successor, Timothy C. Sr. Let's see if to call. So bishop, who's from Philly? Or he's in Philly. Okay, He's from North Wales, where my brother lives. That area. That's a version. Feasterville. That's pretty funny because I was thinking about Trevos recently. So that's a sign. Right. Which is, I think Trevos and Feasterville are like almost the same thing. Yeah, so you want to call a bishop of Timothy Christian Sr. and tell him that, Codorus Township and Northern York County, but I'd say York County needs help, spiritual exorcism and things. And let him put something together. I'm big into exorcism teams going in to an area at the same time. Actually, I could send a message to him and tell him he needs to do it. I'll see if I can find him online. You have a lot of people in the area, it looks like, that could do great work. Well, you have to think it first. Cardinal Kroll ordained this guy to the priesthood. That guy was a Christian Senior. This guy before, right? Where's the guy that's in there now? This guy's in there now. Right? Yeah, so I'll put a note in online that he should contact, York County law enforcement and York County government and suggest exorcisms. There appears to be a rash of murder-suicides, and of course, murder-suicides don't occur without demonic possession. So everybody involved could be innocent to a certain degree, right? It's just, so I'll put some information in. That's what it's saying that should be happening. Obviously, I can't drive around your community. I'm in Western Pennsylvania. Regular. I'm going to get back on the computer here. I'm going to just send something in the Catholic Church and maybe they'll be able to clean it up. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.